moms are superheroes. And I've just really enjoyed pouring back into myself in things that now I have the capacity to do in a comfortable way and also parent my children.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I know you have a special Mother's Day celebration coming up. So tell me all about it.
So Mrs. T's Pierogies is doing an all-star moms program where it is giving away money to moms. And you can nominate yourself as a mom. You can nominate others. But all moms are eligible to win between $5,000, $15,000, and these pierogi prize packs. And it's really just celebrating moms and encouraging them and supporting them on their passions and hobbies, because moms just really don't spend a lot of intentional time to cultivate their own path and their own passions aside from being a mom, because it's a very rewarding, fulfilling job, but it's very overwhelming sometimes. So I think as long as you intentionally put that, like this program is doing, moms really just get something out of it. Obviously the support and the encouragement, but they also get to see the long-term effects of exploring your own passions and identifying yourself as something, not just as a mom, but as what you want to be too.
Definitely. I mean, how important is that for you to do? I know you have a bunch of different businesses as well. So how important is that for you to kind of, have another identity, not just as a mom?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the job that I take, the responsibility that I take as a mom is the biggest job that I'll ever have. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I always think like I have a resume for a reason. I have a passion in my heart for a reason. And so I always wanted to learn piano. So I take some time to learn piano throughout the week. I have my jobs. I have, other passions. I love cooking. So I think what you pour into yourself as a person always shows in different ways in your other facets that you're going through. So I love doing that. I think that it's important for your children to see you doing things that you enjoy, because we always encourage them to like, let's learn this. Let's try karate today, or let's try cooking today. And them seeing you do that as well. Like I've done concerts in my house and like, I do like the ice cream song is like The Entertainer, and I'll play that and everyone gets so excited that I played it. And it just encourages creating something, learning, always learning, and your kids just see a different dynamic. Because when you're a mom, usually you're pretty hardcore and you're very loving, but you also are kind of strict. And to see you light up in a different way, maybe they could see the different sides of you that really sees that you as a different like a full person.
Yeah, it's so important for them to see you, kind of embrace the things that you love to do, and they learn from it too. I think it's so great. I mean, like we said, Mother's Day is right around the corner. Are you a mom that likes to do something with their kids on Mother's Day, or are you going to be asking Sean for a little break this year?
I'm a masochist, so I love spending more time with my kids on Mother's Day. It's always it's always chaotic, but it's so joyful, and the season is so short with this young of children. And so even though I go to bed being like, oh my gosh, I'm just so exhausted, you just end up scrolling and looking at pictures of them when they're asleep. And everyone's like that. So I feel like it wouldn't be a Mother's Day without my children.
Oh, totally. Definitely. I know that you and Sean recently celebrated 8 years of marriage. How would you sum up marriage to Sean Lowe at this moment?
Right now, it is steady. We are really understanding our roles and what we expect from each other. And just our communication is so great. Our conflict, like I had a really hard day like a week ago, and after 8 years of marriage, he learned, don't give me advice, just sit there and listen to me. And he did a great job. I was like, thank you for doing that, because it calms me down. And then it also teaches me how to treat my children when they're venting to me. Mm-hmm. So I always learn something new with him every day. And he's just such a good dad. And he's a great partner. I have no complaints about that man. Definitely.
I mean, what are your tips for keeping not only the romance alive, but keeping the marriage connected during this, craziness of having three young kids running around?
I think communication, always talking about what you're doing for the day so that you know what they're doing and can talk to them. Oh, how did that meeting go? And, I think both sides want to feel just seen. And I am fine with that on a small scale because we spend so much time together that maybe people think that that's too much or it would become mundane, but he always makes me laugh. And if he's gone on a trip, like I just did this little TikTok or something where it was notes that he left me.
Oh my God, I was dying.
It was so cute and it was so creative. I did that one time on our anniversary. I left like this creepy picture. It wasn't Steve Buscemi, but it was like Jack Nicholson or something. I left like random pictures of him everywhere in this hotel room. So we enjoy making each other like little surprises throughout the day.
I love it. That would like literally made me laugh out loud. It was so funny. I loved it. I mean,
he's so creative.
He really is. What would you say is the most challenging parenting age for you, for the kids? What's been the most challenging age for you?
Well, I think it's different for each child. Samuel was probably hard last year and the beginning of his 5 years. But it's just challenging in different ways. I think that you have to understand the individual child that you're, connecting with or trying to learn about. Because I know a lot about Samuel. He makes his interests very known and he is very loud with his emotions. So I kind of take to him in a way where he's a lot. He's a lot because he is like me. He's very sensitive. He's very emotional, but he's very smart and he's very interested in a lot of things. Isaiah is happy-go-lucky and trying to figure out what he's interested in is a little bit of a challenge. So not that I'm weighing them, but and Mia, she's her drama queen. So I'm like, okay, how do I navigate all these different children as being only one person? And you just learn over time what to do in those challenging moments with that child. And I always think, what would I want Sean Lowe to do when I come to him? Because tantrums are when they're comfortable with you. And so whenever something goes on where they have a tantrum or something, I think that's what I do to Sean Lowe. Like I'm great in front of everybody else, but I come home and I vent to my husband, of course, because I know he's going to love me unconditionally. So when my kids do that to me, I have to take it as they love me and they feel safe with me. It's how I respond in this moment that's really important. It's how they're going to continue to come to me and make sure they feel safe.
I love that perspective. That's such a great way to look at it. It really is. I know that I think I ask you every single time that we talk, but I know that you originally
more kids.
More kids. You know that it's happening. You know I gotta ask. Right now, what is your ideal family size?
I love what we have going on right now. I think that just recently I got to see them playing as a group together and having fun and getting along. So I'm really savoring this chapter of them. I could handle more children, but I feel like the way that it is right now, we're gonna look into other things. I think biologically we're done. Sad because I love being pregnant, but I think making sure that you take on the commitment and fulfill that commitment instead of stretching yourself even thinner than you were. Because I want to explore my own passions, like the Mrs. T's Pierogies All-Star Moms program. I feel like pouring into yourself. And yes, you can do that with 5, 20 children, however many children you have. If you have one and you're struggling, I think that moms just need to celebrate that part of them. And again, supporting and encouraging through money, through this program, and just celebrating moms, not just on Mother's Day, because I feel like that's kind of silly to have one day for moms. Moms are superheroes. And I've just really enjoyed pouring back into myself in things that now I have the capacity to do in a comfortable way and also parent my children.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I know. I feel like everybody in Bachelor Nation is writing a book. Have you and Sean ever thought about writing a book about like the tips to be a successful Bachelor couple? Because you really are still like one of the only ones out of The Bachelor.
I mean, I don't know if anyone could really relate to it, but no, we have not. I think Sean Lowe is actually more interested in writing kids' books. I don't know if I spoiled something, but I mean, he's so great with his captions and he has this interesting mind. And I always thought I was creative, but he is very good with his words. He also wrote his own book, and I just feel like everything within a relationship, parenting, all these types of relationships are so unique to that one relationship. So, I mean, I'm not going to say no to anything, but I don't think it's in the cards for us.
Right. I think the last time we spoke, it was before Clayton's season had aired. And you said at the time that you thought it would be like Sean Lowe's season. Not so much. After watching it, I mean, what were your kind of overall thoughts? I mean, the multiple I love yous, a mission of intimacy, can a relationship actually work after that?
Well, yes, I think it can. I mean, obviously, if other couples have gone through really challenging times, they can, especially if you commit to each other. I think if I were to be honest and I was the Bachelorette, I might have been a Clayton. I don't know because that job is so challenging to compartmentalize relationships and not be honest. But I mean, it's very, very hard to be in that position. So we put them on a pedestal as if they're not just normal people. And I think that in doing that and putting Bachelor couples exempt from normal problems, like if you put anybody together, not having an understanding of their daily life, not having each other's phone numbers, never seeing them, what they look like when they wake up, like there's so many different random things that you don't think about. But it affects them just the same as everybody else, maybe even more because everybody's watching them. So I feel bad for Clayton, but I don't think that it's going to hinder them as long as they just stay committed to each other. Then the outside is just noise.
Right. I mean, what's your advice for navigating fantasy suites, maybe going forward for, Rachel and Gabby this season? I mean, it's kind of like flips the script on everything.
Well, I feel like they just recently started putting the girls together.
It's the most awkward
and
thing
the guys
ever.
No, they never did that with us because that just jacks you up. I know that The Bachelor does an amazing job of telling stories and they really highlight drama and they try to get natural drama. That's a natural drama scenario where you of course would feel that way. So of course drama is going to happen. Of course uncomfortable things are going to happen. So I just don't think that that's going to be good if they want successful relationships. But again, you can't endure it. I just would say be as private as possible, I guess, or set your expectations like Susie did. She said, I don't want to continue this if you're going to do that. So I think owning what you feel and what you think are your limits is very smart. So I think that Susie did a really good job of that.
Definitely. What do you think about 2 Bachelorettes?
I'm excited. Yeah. I think the girls are very unique from each other. So it's not going to be like, it's going to be clear that the boys are just like Britt and Kaitlyn. Yeah. They are going to go for different guys. But I'm curious about the dynamic. I really don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to be on the same, resort, but in different wings. I don't know. So I think we're all in for a treat.
I think so too. And then finally, what did you think of Jesse Palmer as a host this season?
I think he did a fantastic job. Of course, I am so Chris Harrison love, but I think the match between journalist and someone who knows and understands the position, someone who's there and you feel their presence when they're there, but you don't think about them when they're gone. I think the girls did such a good job, but they're so beautiful and dynamic in themselves that you thought about them when they left. Now, Jesse, you see him because he's consoling Clayton, or he'll be there, but then literally he walks out of the screen and you don't think about him anymore. And I think that's what Chris did. Mm-hmm. So I think he's a very comparable host in terms of the way that he is positioned.
Yeah. Were you disappointed that Kaitlyn and Keisha weren't going to come back as Bachelorette hosts? I liked what they brought to it because they brought, obviously that they knew what it was
right. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't like consultants or they were brought in, because I think that it's something that a lot of people cannot relate to, and I can't relate to being a Bachelorette. So having people in similar positions to help them through the mind crazy roller coaster that position, because again, you have no one to talk to. Yeah. You can't relate to anybody. So I think the girls being consultants would be really, really good. Jesse's going to be the host, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, you never know who they're going to bring back to connect with the girls and relate to them and help them through it.
definitely. Well, Catherine, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure catching up.
Same. Thanks, Christina.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.